If XRP captures 5 to 10% of volume, let's just say 10% of volume, $125 trillion annually, the demand for XRP, by the way, it could be any of these other technologies we're talking about. Analysts estimate that a $10 trillion market cap could push XRP's price to $100 per token, with full replacement potentially driving it up to $1,000.
Is it possible for XRP to go to $1,000? The United States government has revealed their crypto altcoin holdings, and some of them may surprise you. This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, altcoinbuzz.io, and as always, not financial advice, and wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Alright guys, so unfortunately Bitcoin's not looking the best right now. We are hovering just below this next level of resistance around $83,000. I imagine if the news continues and we sell off today, I do expect us to come down here towards this $72,000 level. Unfortunately, we are doing kind of an underside retest right now. You can see last time we came down here, we went back up to $92,000, broke down again. Now we're at this another level of resistance. We've come back up to around $83,000. I imagine it's probably something similar to this, where we come back down and maybe reach $70-ish thousand. And hopefully this is a big area of support where we're going to continue to hold and then hopefully consolidate over the next couple weeks, maybe a month or two now. So first off, we have Mark Yusko explaining why it's always important to buy the Bitcoin dip.
Before we go, Bitcoin was under 8,000 earlier today.
Buy it.
Regardless though of the drop. If I said to you Bitcoin dropped to 5,000, you'd say buy it.
Buy it. Because here's the thing, the daily price of Bitcoin doesn't matter. It's been alive for 10 years. In every year, other than one, 2015, it's made a higher low. The market cap has grown every single year. Every fundamental indicator of Bitcoin, usage, wallets, block size, transaction size, number of transactions, every single one, hash rate, making new highs. All of the indicators of the network and the network value are rising. The price of any asset fluctuates. Let's take Amazon. Amazon's been a public company for 20 years. In every year, including this year, it's at a double-digit drawdown. The average peak to trough, minus 31%. Twice, minus 90%. When was the right time to sell? Never. Who's owned it since the IPO to today? Jeff and his mom and dad. That's it.
So I will say one important caveat here, though, is he is saying Bitcoin dip. It is always important to buy on a long-term horizon because in every 4-year cycle, Bitcoin is never down over a 4-year period. I will say it's a little bit different from altcoins. Altcoins can go to zero, so you have to be very careful with what altcoins you are buying. But if you're buying the Bitcoin dip, which I think is perfectly viable, use of your money, buying the Bitcoin dip on a 4-year time horizon is never a bad idea. Pretty much what he's saying. Then we have Symbiote, who has a really good thread here. He says, now is the most compelling period I've ever seen in crypto. Bulls think that it's the last dip. Bears think that this is the end of crypto. But who's right? So he says, let's break this down. Why is this period so complicated and divided? Huge news is coming, but no pump is following. Mass adoption, but not many retail. So recently, the world's first ever crypto summit at the White House turned out to be 10 times worse than anyone expected. In the end, all we got were even more questions. Also, it's likely that Bitcoin will not be bought from the market for reserves. And that's why, as I expected, the event turned out to be more of a sell the news moment. This is overall the reason why we're dropping right now, despite having lots of good news. Markets have always been based on the premise of reality and expectation. And that's exactly why in the short term, the market's a bit lost, and I think will drop further. So for some reason, very few people are talking about this right now. Inflation is going back to pre-COVID lows. Falling inflation and rising unemployment mean interest rates will be cut. And as it usually happens, rate cuts might send crypto and stocks much higher. Even though the reserve might be created not from the market, it's still very bullish. Here's why. Other countries will buy Bitcoin. Fear of the US selling is gone, as it will likely buy more. And the probability of the government outlawing Bitcoin is definitely zero. But of course, with such bullish points, it's important to not forget that the macroeconomy is not in a very good state. Because of this, most are risk off, and since crypto is still a risk asset, that's not great. But even so, right now, mass adoption and the level of incoming retail interest are strong. Overall, the only thing left to do right now is slowly accumulate and look for more fundamental projects. It's very easy right now because 99% of scams stop posting updates, stop working on their project, and simply fade away. Then we also have Mr. Crypto saying, after the US jobs report yesterday, the market's already started pricing in more rate cuts this year. There's a 52% chance of a cut in May, and 86% chance of a cut in June. This is bullish for crypto. So before, we had a lot less chances of rate cuts. We had maybe one coming later this year, but now there's a potential chance of more rate cuts, which is very bullish for crypto. The market has gone crazy over the last 30 days, with 2 huge liquidation days of over $1 billion and a pump and dump over the weekend. But some coins like SUI have weathered the storm and are still a great investment opportunity today. SUI is quickly becoming one of the leading altcoins in the market, so let's check out why. SUI is killing it in all the big sectors it supports, like DeFi, where SUI crossed $1 billion in TVL and is almost at $1.5 billion in record time. SUI's liquidity aggregator DeepBook launched its Deep token in October and is holding up well in tough market conditions. Walrus is changing the game in decentralized data storage, and its token launch is coming soon. And Solana builders are building on SUI now, with integrations like Phantom and Backpack. SUI even has a small but growing meme coin market for meme coin lovers. If you haven't used SUI lately, then come give it a try, and follow SUI's X account for all their latest updates. And then moving on to altcoins, we have Lunar Crush saying HBAR social activity is skyrocketing. Hedera has 1% of all crypto social activity today. And at the same time, Polynomial to list the #1 USA coin HBAR. FYI, Polynomial does approximately $1 billion annual volume, and a listing here will bring more visibility and institutional legitimacy. Another demonstration of the huge institutional demand for Hedera. Now, I will say HBAR is looking a little bit better than other coins. It is holding above this level of support here, but like we were saying earlier, if Bitcoin does come down here, and I do expect it to come down to around $72,000, $73,000, I don't expect this little level of support to hold that much for HBAR. So I do think if we do, go down to those levels, we're probably going to come down to this level here between 12.5 to around 15.5 cents. So it's more likely that this happens for HBAR, where we kind of come down here, we hit this level of support, maybe we break down, and then we come down, and somewhere between this is where we do some kind of, high time frame accumulation for HBAR. But I do think, that is kind of the level we're looking for us to then continue higher, reclaim this level, and then go up higher. Usually when we have huge pumps like this, you can kind of draw one of those fib retracement tools, and about 60% down is where you can expect the accumulation to happen before continue up. So, 60% between this level and this level puts you somewhere down around 12 cents, and then I could see us accumulating back above and heading higher. But I do think HBAR is one of those coins that is probably going to be stronger as it is a top, made in USA coin. And then with Miles Deutscher saying, here are the largest US government crypto holdings. It was revealed that they'll be creating a digital asset stockpile with the cryptocurrencies that they own. Other than Sol, XRP, and ADA, these altcoins on the list could also find their way into the reserve. So while they're not necessarily a reserve, they're in the stockpile, and these are just cryptocurrencies that the US government already has. So they have $17.64 billion of Bitcoin, $122 million of ETH, 66.6 million of wrapped Bitcoin, 24 million of BNB, 13.3 million of wrapped BNB, 11.3 of wrapped ETH, 3.7 of TRX, 2.16 million of Uni, $1.69 million of Link, and the one that I did not expect was Sand, $1.04 million of Sand. So that is not one that I expected to see in this list, but Sand, Link, Uni, TRX, all these 3 coins, TRX, Uni, and Link, all ones that World Liberty Finance has bought as well. Sand was kind of the one that I didn't expect, as well as BNB, because it's not necessarily a USA coin, but it's just one that they probably confiscated over the years that they just happen to have and will be put into the digital asset stockpile that they probably won't sell. So those coins are ones that they are adding other than Sol, XRP, and ADA. We have Patrick Bet-David, who is a big business kind of guru guy. He's a very smart and rich financial guy, and he just put out this video, which I was surprised to see because he hasn't historically been very involved in crypto, but he put this video out and he said this about XRP.
If XRP replaces SWIFT and FedNow, you know what happens? Let me give you some numbers here. XRP's ledger processes transactions in 3 to 5 seconds at nearly no cost, making it significantly faster and cheaper than SWIFT. So SWIFT processes $5 trillion daily, or 1.25 quadrillion annually. If you didn't know what that was, quadrillion annually, SWIFT. If XRP captures 5 to 10% of volume, let's just say 10% of volume, $125 trillion annually. The demand for XRP, by the way, could be any of these other technologies we're talking about. Analysts estimate that a $10 trillion market cap could push XRP's price to $100 per token with full replacement potentially driving it up to $1,000. Now, who those analysts are, I'm willing to bet those analysts own Ripple. And that's why they're writing this. Hey, analysts, just because I say analyst says, it doesn't mean they're 100% right, but yeah, it is a way of looking at what could happen with this. If this were to happen, It's a big deal. Now,
and then also recently, Franklin Templeton has filed an S1 for an XRP ETF. So now we have 17 XRP ETFs being filed right now. So an XRP ETF coming this year is a lot more likely. And now I will say XRP is one of the ones where I don't expect it to hold this level very much. We are doing an underside retest of this level at $2.25. If you want to buy more XRP, I would look to accumulate more around the $1.40-ish range, $1.45. Somewhere around here is probably where I expect us to go next. This wasn't that great having these lower highs being built after such a huge news of this XRP in the asset reserve stockpile. So the fact that we can't hold above this, like the rest of the market, not just XRP, but the fact that we can't hold above this level here at $2.23 means we're most likely going to fill in all this inefficiency right here, and we're going to come back down to around $1.45 at the minimum. So if you do want to buy more XRP, that is a place to be loading up some more at $1.45. And then we have Marty Party saying Solana leads monthly DEX volume for the 5th straight month, hitting $105.86 billion, accumulate SOL before the markup. So SOL has had a lot of FUD over the past few months with all the, the issues with the Libra project and Trump coin being on there and everyone getting rugged. But SOL probably around these levels is probably one to start accumulating. Everyone is bridging to Solana, $350 million bridge from ETH to Solana. $1.5 trillion asset under management in Franklin Templeton has just published a 4-page report highlighting Solana's DeFi domination over ETH. Get more bullish, Solana is undervalued. And we also have Solana DEX volume briefly surpass Ethereum and all other layer 2s combined in February, despite meme coin meltdown. So Solana at $123. Now I will say, I don't think this is the level that it holds. Kind of like Ethereum, we had this, year-long level of support. But with it right here, it's kind of like, it's kind of slipping below the support. With Bitcoin at $82,000 and potentially going down to 72, I don't think that this is the level that Solana holds. It is a level that you could start to DCA in, but not your whole stack. Now, I do think we probably see around $100 Solana coming soon. This is a level of support here down around $83. If we get that low, I'm not entirely sure. But I do see around, low $100 Solana coming soon because we could just very well reject here, come down to around high 90s to 100, and consolidate somewhere in this big area of support around here. But the bottom of that range would probably be around $83-ish. If we came down there, I would be looking to load up a lot of Solana because I do expect us to go back towards $200 at least this cycle, and probably towards new highs later in the year. I do expect us at this point. I think we've kind of hit a point where we do need a couple months to reaccumulate and reevaluate. It's very hard for markets to just instantly turn back around unless there's some amazing, catalyst and some crazy news. I don't expect a V reversal at this point. I expect us to do some very high time frame reaccumulation, and it's going to take a couple months. Maybe we have a more bullish summer, but I do think Solana towards the end of the year probably is hitting $300, $400. So I do think anything down towards $100 is a great buy for Solana, but we'll have to see how it develops over the course of the next couple of weeks. But I do expect us to go lower from here, so you don't have to put everything in right at this spot. And then we have BitDCA, who's officially ranked as a top 4 new project launch on Certic. So Certic, which is the smart contract auditing platform, has ranked them as a top 4 new launch. Now, if you don't remember who BitDCA is, they allow you to save effortlessly with a little bit. They're a micro-saving app that automatically converts a small percentage of every credit card payment into Bitcoin. They also recently announced that BDCA staking is now live. Stake your BDCA tokens and earn a share of revenue from the Little Bit app. Earn up to 20% bonus in BDCA tokens. Here's how. Stake tokens are tied to unique transferable NFTs. Wallets holding these NFTs receive rewards every 14 days. High-tier NFTs mean bigger rewards. They also released their 2025 roadmap saying big things are coming in 2025 and beyond. In Q1, BDCA staking goes live, which just happened. In Q2, Little Bit expands to Central Europe. In Q3, the first revenue shares to token holders. And in Q4, onboarding the next 1 million users. So that's BitDCA, which you can also check out, link down below. And then lastly for today, we have Ondo Finance. So the United States is open for business, they shared. Ondo Vice Chairman Patrick McHenry joined CNBC Asia to discuss the $64 trillion tokenization opportunity and Ondo's role in bringing RWAs on-chain at scale. He said firms like Ondo are best in class in the tokenization of real-world assets. We have a massive market to bring this new technology to, bringing it on-chain and doing it in a regulated way. And Kyron shares 3 US giants. These are all now part of the Ondo team. So we have Paul Atkins, which is the new SEC chair and securitized advisor. We have Eric Schmidt, who has advised the US DoD on tech and ex-Google CEO, as well as an advisor to Render, Otoy, and Link. And we have Patrick McHenry, which is a former House Financial Services chair and now an advisor to Ondo. So these are huge heavyweights in the US, which are now part of Ondo. Ondo is doing huge things, but But I will say, because even though Ondo is doing huge things, doesn't mean the price has to go up necessarily right now. We're at a level of support at around 76 cents. So we came here, we bounced. I imagine us to probably bounce up to around 93 cents. But I do think we do go lower. But I do think Ondo is still a good token for the long term if you want to accumulate more. I do see us probably going down towards the 62-cent level if Bitcoin continues to drop down. This is the next major level of support here around 62 cents. So I imagine we probably come down here at some point, we bounce, and then we recover. Kind of like everything, we have to wait and see what happens with Bitcoin. But I don't think the cycle is over. I think we are going to see a more bullish summer and later part of the year. But I do think very much in line with this cycle. Everything is different from previous cycles. So what was a sell in May, go away over the summer kind of thing is probably now, in May, we start to pick up again and we have a bullish summer and a bullish, second half of the year. Everything is different this cycle. So unfortunately, I think that's probably more likely the case. And we're going to have to just kind of wait and be patient for our altcoin gains to come back later this year. So that is it for this. That's it for the video, guys. Unfortunately, it's not very, very exciting and nice. But these are things we want to be watching so that we do have a better chance at making more money on altcoins later this cycle. So that is the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.